I toured 5 of Edinburgh's best independent bookshops in one day, and I'm gonna show you everything that I got. I actually designed this Leith bookshop crawl with 7 bookshops in mind, but we didn't make it to 2 of them because we just took ages in every single bookshop. In the description box, I will have a link to a Google Maps where I have pinned all these 7 bookshops. But if you are in Edinburgh and you want to do this, I would definitely recommend starting early. The first place we went to was Toppings and Company. It is independent and it originated in Scotland, but it also has branches in St Andrews, Ely and Bath, and I just heard the news that they will be opening a new branch in York, so that's exciting. This bookshop is a dream. The one in Edinburgh has 2 floors, and especially the top floor is literally a maze. It's just room after room, filled floor to ceiling with books. You don't know which way to look, and then you just keep wandering about and entering different rooms. One of my favorite sections in this bookshop is the folklore section. They have a lot of really interesting stuff that I never see anywhere else. The selection is so huge that you will find a lot of books that you don't often come across, so that's really cool. And in this bookshop I only got 2 things. The first one is a new release that is also the pick for my local horror book club, and that's Carrion Crow by Heather Parry. I bought a signed edition, and all hardbacks in this bookshop come wrapped in this protective plastic, but it's quite easy to take off. From what I've heard, this is a gothic tale about a mother and a daughter, and I think the mother keeps the daughter locked in the attic because she's concerned that the daughter might be involved in immoral activities. And then I have no idea what happens because, as you know, I like to go into books with as little information as possible, but I've heard that this is really gross and disgusting. And also gothic, which is an interesting combination, and I'm very excited to read it. Then I got more of a coffee table book, and I have quite a few of those, so I was trying to convince myself that I didn't need it. But then when it was time to go pay, I decided that I definitely needed it because it's so cute. It is Faithful Unto Death, Pet Cemeteries, Animal Graves and Eternal Devotion by Paul Kudunaris. It is about the culture of burying pets, which I think is so sweet. I've noticed that this publisher, Townsend Hudson, they make a lot of morbid coffee table books. So this is definitely a catalog that I will be browsing. And these are some of the photographs you can find inside. These looks so sweet, and I think I might really enjoy looking through these during Dia de Muertos, Day of the Dead. Then we visited McNaughton's, which is a vintage and antiquaries bookseller. I didn't buy anything there, but I had a great time browsing. They had some really interesting books, and the whole place is just so cozy, so I would say it's definitely worth a visit. And then connected to that bookshop we have Typewriter Books, and this one's quite teeny tiny, but I love how they have books tucked into every nook and cranny. It is also very cozy, but it can get a bit busy and overwhelming, so just be patient while you're browsing. I didn't buy anything there, but my friend did buy something that I was also interested in reading, so I borrowed it and I have been reading it. And it relates to one of the coolest things about this bookshop, which is that they sell a lot of literary magazines, and she picked out issue 9 of Extra Teeth. This is actually edited by Heather Parry, the author of the book I showed you first. This is a print-only magazine. I'm not sure what it's pitched as, but from what I've read, it's a lot of weird short fiction. Some of it is horror, a lot of it's not necessarily horror, but it's always a bit either disturbing or just odd. And then there's also some non-fiction as well, but I haven't read any of those, so I don't know what the vibe is. But in general, I really enjoyed reading these, and each of the stories gets a cover illustration. and so far it's been very cool reading these. At this point it started raining, so we made a little stop for coffee and pastries at this little cafe called Oh Dear. The coffee was excellent and they served Italian pastries which were also pretty good. Our next stop was Elvis Shakespeare. This is a second-hand bookshop and music shop, so they also sell records and music in all formats like CDs, etc. This was really fun to browse, and I actually didn't expect that I would find anything, but I did. I got The Darkest Lullaby by Jonathan Janz. I've read a couple of Jonathan Janz books and I feel that they're just really fun horror. However, it's not something you find in bookshops here in the UK. At least I personally had never seen any of his books here before. So this was a really fun surprise. This is a haunted house story about a family that moves into a house that was previously the location of a cult that carried out occult practices. So a cult for the occult. So a really nice surprise, and I'm hoping this will be fun. The next stop was supposed to be La Belle Adventure, but we didn't make it in time. I think they had already closed. And this is a comic book shop. I've never been before, so I guess I'll just try and go back sometime. And finally we made it to what I would say right now is becoming my favorite bookshop in Edinburgh. It has all genres, but they love horror. They really do. They even run a horror book club that I'm thinking of joining, but it's a little bit far from where I live, so I don't know. Anyways, this is Argonaut Bookshop. It's not huge, but the selection is excellent. And again, they always have books that I've never seen anywhere else. And I would recommend browsing the horror section, but also again the folklore section. And I got a bunch of stuff here because it was just too good. First, I have a novella called The Haunted Screen. This is by J.M. Tyree. I should also say that one of the reasons this bookshop is so unique is that they stock a lot of small press. So for example, this one was published by A Strange Object, an imprint of Deep Vellum. Anyways, this is about an American couple that have moved to Germany, and it features a horror film scholar who's working on a project about Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. I guess I'm gonna have to watch that while I read this. And he starts to descend into paranoia as he believes someone or something is stalking him. The next book I have is Witch Called Abby by Mark Samuels, published by Hippocampus Press. This is historical horror, which I've been loving lately. This is set in 1940, and it's about a man who gets hired to go catalog the library of an abbey in Hertfordshire. When he gets there, he finds out that the books he's been asked to catalog are all about strange topics and describe occult practices and weird rituals. And then it seems like all of these things start to infiltrate his dreams and his life. So this sounds like it has so much potential to be something I love. I then got 2 short story collections because you know I can never resist those. The first one is Witch, edited by Michelle T. First of all, this cover, irresistible. What's really cool about this is it's actually not only short stories, it is a collection of manifesto, poetry, play scripts, and prose. So I think it also blends fiction and non-fiction in very interesting ways, and it says it's an exploration of the witch as a radical archetype in ancient and contemporary life. And finally, maybe my favorite purchase of all, this book is so gorgeous. It is Spiritus Mundi, Writings Born from the Occult. This is also a mixture of short stories and poems, but it's all fiction, and the concept is really interesting because the authors were given a prompt corresponding to an occult technique, so for example scrying or cartomancy, and then they had to write a story around that. So I don't know, this just sounds really exciting. I actually don't recognize any of the names in this one except Alice Slater, who wrote Death of a Bookseller, a thriller I actually gave 5 stars to, so hopefully that's a good omen. That's where we ended the tour, but actually if you just walk a couple blocks ahead, I guess maybe like 3 blocks more, you will reach at the Edinburgh Community Bookshop, which is another secondhand bookshop that I've had success in the past. So that's it, that's the whole tour for you. I had to come back because I forgot a book. It was literally just on this chair, but I didn't see it. I got this at Argonaut as well, and I knew it because my Argonaut haul felt too small. Anyways, I got a poetry book. I got Midden Witch by Fiona Benson. As you can tell, I was feeling extremely witchy at Argonaut. In this collection, Fiona Benson enters the world of familiars, fables and hedge magic, and focuses on the persistent superstition, the fear and false knowledge that was witchcraft. It's divided in different sections according to the theme of the poems. We have discovery of witchcraft, persecution, herbals, exorcisms, familiars, and folk tales. So now we're done. Let me know which one of these bookshops you'd like to visit, or if you've been in them, which one is your favorite? I would love to know, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!